and welcome to Sunday School. I'm back from the desert. Uh, my good friend and brother Mason, uh, Corey Allen, who was kind enough, brave enough, bold enough to fly down from Seattle, rent a nice SUV, and drive me and my Enochian universe, my holy table, all the toys. Uh, 11 hours. It took 11 hours for us to get to Joshua Tree in Southern California. And I've just returned. It only took us 10 hours yesterday. So, Corey, thank you very much. I've been, over the last few days, I've been trying to at least check in somehow or other with little things here and there in the morning. A couple of them were my early morning resh, my sunrise resh, which I could do right out of my little Airbnb out in the desert, uh, just right in one of the little videos, you can see my foot. I'm bundled up because it's very chilly in the morning. I'm bundled up on like a chaise lounge and just watching, actually seeing the sun pop up over this awesome landscape. You just want to do resh or something. You just want to. It's a worshipful event, anyway. So, more than anything else this morning, what I wanted to do was to start almost on time and to let you know that I'm alive and well, and the 3-day Vision in the Desert uh, workshops, I guess we could call them, uh, but they're very experiential. Uh, in my mind, was a major event in my life. Okay, well, let's just say that. And I believe everyone, I think we had a total of 39 attendees, and uh, it was really the brainchild of Tonalise Rugas, who single-handedly did everything. Okay, she cooked for all of us. She organized the whole thing. She's a force of nature, and uh, there's no. We owe everything for that weekend to her tireless and brilliant work. Anyway, I'm back. I wish I could say, well, I've got a big Sunday school presentation for you today, but I don't. My brain is more or less magical mush uh, this morning. So it'll probably be short, but at least it's on time. Uh, I well, it's still fresh in my mind because I've been enmeshed in the Enochian elemental universe and in the Enochian etheric universe this weekend. Obviously, that causes your dreams. The magic doesn't stop when you go to sleep during an intensive event such as this. Uh, but I would like to share just a little bit of the information that I thought was very important for anyone that wants to do any kind of Kabbalistic path working or the Enochian traveling through the aethers, or anything that involves your your intercourse, if you will, or your connection or communication with anything that you would be describe as spirits, intelligences, uh, whether they be Goetic or Enochian, literally anything where you're talking to a spirit. And the argument over whether this is objective or subjective sort of melds away when the light bulb goes off in your head about what it actually is. Okay, uh, and in for a magician, you just move forward with the assumption that at the moment, during while it's happening, it's an objective experience. Okay, um, uh, a very very small, well, I can't say that, a part of the last 3 days presentations or events dealt with the the theory in practice, if you will, of all of these magic Enochian toys, these tools, the complex holy table, the really complex, minutely complex elemental tablets, and why they figure so prominently in several of the images, the pictures that come down from Dee and Kelly's time, but they're not really treated on in any meaningful way in the practice of Enochian magic. We've got the image of the holy table, and we've got the uh, in more recent years with the wonderful work of Joseph Peterson, Clay Holden, and others in uh, collecting and publishing the original D material. So we sort of understand how they were constructed and how angels appeared to them to over years, periods of times, and through uh, the machinery of alphanumeric codes and stuff, created this working table and created the sigillum deumeth, that complex disc that is probably the most recognizable symbol of Enochian magic, and the lamen that you put over your heart, and the ring and things like that. Uh, and then they really don't say what to do with them. Okay, there's a good description of what they do, and it's obvious to me that uh, before they got the real good goodies of practical Enochian magic, as we many of us practice today, it took about nearly 3 years of them doing stuff like making that holy table and the sigillum and the tablet of Nalvage and all of that. It was like Dee and Kelly needed to sort of be tuned up to understand uh, the universe as seen from the eyes of angels. It's almost like, oh, I can answer I'll answer that practical question you have, Dr. D. But to do that, you have to understand how angels talk. You have to understand how angels understand the the particulars of your question if you want to find out whether whether your old buddy Prince Lasky is going to ever become king of Poland, you got to sort of understand. We'll answer it, but for you to get that answer, you're going to have to more or less understand what angels think of when you say Poland, when you say Prince Lasky, when you say prince, when you say king, when you even say will be, and will help you understand that. Okay, we'll get you tuned up to the wavelength of the universal wavelength of these angelic intelligences. So it'll only take a minute, okay? But I'll never listen to an angel when they say they have, yeah, our concept of a minute is theirs of 10,000 aeons, you know. But uh, then they start this holy table and everything else is, in a sense, in order for them to make it, in order for them to even to uh, have a simple list of the hierarchy of angels, they more or less had to constantly keep in mind the continuum of the creation of the universe from day one to where Dee and Kelly were, because that's always going on in the multi-dimensional intelligent units that they're talking to. I don't know if that makes sense. Um, I lay it out much better in the book, but I'm going to just read you two things uh, from the weekend's talk. Um, all the magical rings and objects and tablets, all the paraphernalia. It discourages many people at first when they, obviously, if you've always thought about getting into Enochian magic and then you took one look at all the shit, you go, shit. No, I'm going to do something else, okay? It really does look like Enochian magic is ponderously complex and complicated, and you know, it is. But once you understand a little bit more, you'll realize that the real magic is not done with these material objects. The material implements simply help you visualize the source of the real magic. And the real magic is done inside your head. And you don't really need all this stuff in order to immediately set to work. That's why Enochian magic works good just kind of right out of the box, like the Golden Dawn did, like Crowley did. They did it right out of the box. Uh, in reading the early sections of Crowley's Liber Hanoch, you could see that he really knew how the holy table and all of that was constructed, and that he'd really done his homework, but he didn't set up a holy table and all of that stuff. Neither did the Golden Dawn. Um, so let's see what I was going to do. Okay, I'm going to. The real magic is an Enochian is that you create an atmosphere with that's generated, if you will, by the presence of the holy table and such, and that the practical magic that you get out of it isn't in the form of uh, automatic writing, or it's not in the form of angels appearing and sit down with you and really say, well, what's your question? What's your issue? Tell me about it. Tell old Taogla about it. No, it comes in a series of stories, if you will, visions, if you will. You ask a particular question, how do I take the next step in my personal initiatory journey? How do I go about doing that? And they don't tell you in so many words, okay? Uh, you do the call, you get yourself into that particular atmospheric vibration that is that particular level of universal consciousness. Yeah, uh, you evoke the environment into the room by the sound of the call, and it temporarily hangs around there while you bathe yourself in that vibratory level and relax and see what's going on in your mind. And what's going on in your mind is a daydream, a vignette. The answer is in vignettes. It's not a yes or no thing because your question is more complex than you think, and you need to see a story that in its own way is illustrative of your situation and your answer, or the suggestions as to the next step to your answer. So it comes as a story, and you're not sure why you're seeing that story. You're not seeing, uh, for instance, uh, you stop to scry after you've done all your preparatory work, and you can't stop thinking of yourself just driving through the drive-through line at McDonald's. Uh, you know, and you try to, I don't want to see what I'm seeing. I'm trying to have a vision. Duh. What you're seeing is your vision. Okay. No two people are alike, and no two people see the world around them or interpret a vision in the same way. Even though all of us are generally hardwired the same, none of us react in the same way to sounds or images or smells. We all have different sense memories, different things that trigger emotional responses, frighten us, or stimulate us. We all cry at different scenes in a movie. The sound of a crackling fire, or the smell of fried onions, or the scent of a woman will trigger a dramatically different response from me than it does for you. For example, in a magical vision, a dragon might open its mouth to eat you. By the way, it's a vision, okay, you guys. Nothing is going to hurt you. Okay, you'll live through anything. So if a dragon opened its mouth to eat you in a vision, let the freaking dragon eat you. Okay? Yeah, it's meaningful. Okay. Uh, for you, this vision might be an inspiring message encouraging you to surrender fearlessly to the next and impending Kundalini awakening. Okay. On the other hand, if someone else were to have this vision, it might be a message trying to warn them that their emotional appetites are out of control and consuming them. When we find our consciousness temporarily elevated to the vibratory frequency level of a specific Enochian aether or a Kabbalistic sephirah, we each will receive our message through our own private, unique language. It's a language of mental and emotional impressions and images. Enochian visions seldom make any sense, at least not at first. They're surreal, they're odd, and mine are just downright goofy, okay? And sometimes, often, they're embarrassing. That still doesn't mean that they aren't genuine visions of the aether. That still doesn't mean they aren't filled with intimate and vital messages as to the current state of your soul and what obstacles you'll need to overcome in order to take the next step in your initiatory journey. As a magician, it's your first challenge to first learn your own language and vocabulary of visual images. And the best way to start learning that private vocabulary is to practice. Ultimately, it's not the angel of the aether that's talking to you in a vision. It's you talking to you while you're under the influence of the aether. So that was just a little tidbit of an otherwise 15-hour or 15 plus hour 3-day intensive of Enochian magic. And I hope everybody who attended had a meaningful experience. It was a pleasure meeting all of them. And we're thinking about going back to the desert if I ever recover. We're going back perhaps to do it maybe next year and talk about tarot, something like that. But anyway, my thanks go to Tonalise and her organization that organized all of that. And you can feel free to message me. I'll put you in contact with her so you can find out more about more of her events. And so that's it for today. That's it for Sunday school. It's good to be back in the driver's seat, but it's sort of weird because my days in Joshua Tree were just absolutely wonderful and sort of bookended a very dramatic day I spent in Joshua 58 years ago. So until tomorrow, for the opening of the order of Monday morning, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.